In an increasingly interconnected world, the notion of personal privacy feels like a dwindling resource. Every day, silently, the digital tendrils of surveillance extend further, weaving into the very fabric of our lives. We often consent to this, perhaps unwittingly, through the convenience of smart devices and online services. Yet, the true scope of data collection, the sheer volume of personal information aggregated, remains largely opaque to most citizens. It's a profound shift in societal norms, one that demands our urgent attention and scrutiny before it's too late. Imagine a network so vast, so intricately woven, that every single action, every purchase, every casual conversation is catalogued and analysed. This isn't science fiction, it's our present reality. From the minute we switch on our devices, we begin generating a digital footprint that grows exponentially, a unique identifier that can be tracked and interpreted. These invisible threads of data coalesce, forming a comprehensive profile of who we are, what we desire, and where we spend our time. It's a startling proposition that changes our very understanding of personal space. Facial recognition technology, once confined to thrilling espionage films, is now an omnipresent feature in our public spaces. High-resolution cameras, seamlessly integrated into our urban infrastructure, scan and identify individuals with alarming accuracy. Your face, once a private identifier, becomes a key, unlocking a trove of personal information. This capability, while ostensibly for security, raises profound questions about the erosion of anonymity and the potential for misuse. It redefines what it means to be seen. Beyond facial recognition, predictive policing algorithms are emerging as a new frontier in urban management. These sophisticated systems analyze vast datasets, attempting to forecast future events and identify potential trouble spots or individuals before incidents even occur. While proponents argue this proactive approach enhances public safety, critics highlight the inherent biases and ethical dilemmas. The prospect of being flagged by an algorithm, based on probabilistic models rather than actual actions, is a concerning development for civil liberties and due process. It fundamentally alters our relationship with justice. The vision of a smart city promises unparalleled efficiency and convenience, yet it often comes at the cost of pervasive data collection. Integrated sensors monitor everything from traffic flow and waste management to public health metrics. Every streetlight, every bus stop, potentially becomes a data point, feeding a central nervous system of urban intelligence. This digital infrastructure, while offering undeniable benefits, transforms public spaces into zones of continuous data extraction, blurring the lines between infrastructure and surveillance. The comfort of a smarter city might just be a Trojan horse for absolute oversight. Indeed, these smart city sensors aren't just for traffic, they're perpetually listening. Imagine your bin on collection day, not just silently awaiting disposal, but actively transmitting data about your domestic consumption habits. It's a rather intrusive thought, isn't it? Every discarded coffee filter, every empty cereal box becomes a data point, contributing to a granular profile of your household. Rodney, much like many of us, is likely unaware of this specific level of data extraction, though perhaps he's beginning to suspect something isn't quite right with his new automated waste system. It's not just the external environment. Even our most mundane domestic appliances are joining the chorus of data collection. Your smart kettle, for example, isn't simply boiling water anymore. It meticulously logs your tea drinking schedule, analyses your preferred brewing temperature, and might even deduce your stress levels based on your caffeine intake. This information, supposedly for convenience, flows into the vast digital ocean, painting an increasingly intimate picture of your private life. Rodney's morning brew is perhaps not as innocent as it once seemed. And what about your toothbrush? Oh yes, the smart toothbrush. It's not just timing your 2 minutes anymore. These devices are equipped with sophisticated gyroscopes and pressure sensors, mapping the contours of your mouth with obsessive detail. This data, allegedly for optimal oral hygiene, is then transmitted and aggregated. Could an algorithm predict your dental needs based on your brushing patterns? Or perhaps, more alarmingly, your snack choices? Rodney looks particularly bewildered by his, almost as if it's whispering secrets to the bathroom cabinet. Even our beloved household plants, or rather their smart pots, are now part of this expansive network. These connected planters meticulously monitor soil moisture, light exposure, and nutrient levels, sending updates directly to your smartphone. But what if they're also analyzing your proximity, your sighing patterns, or the frequency of your whispered confessions to your fiddle leaf fig? Rodney's plant, a rather unassuming succulent, seems to have developed an unnervingly knowing gaze, almost as if it's judging his life choices. This level of intimacy feels profoundly unsettling. And what about your refrigerator? It's not just keeping your food cold anymore. The modern smart fridge meticulously catalogues its contents, suggests recipes, and even orders groceries autonomously. But could it also be assessing your nutritional habits, identifying your guilty pleasures, or even predicting your future cravings? Imagine your fridge reporting back your late-night ice cream binges. Rodney's latest model has a particularly judgmental hum, and he started to notice his pre-written grocery lists mysteriously gaining new, healthy additions he didn't approve. It's a very personal invasion. The very air we breathe indoors is now subject to scrutiny by smart air purifiers. These devices, designed to optimize air quality, also track particulate matter, volatile organic compounds, and even pollen counts with unnerving precision. But could they also be detecting your emotional state based on fluctuations in your breath or identifying unique scent profiles? Rodney's Purifier emits a soft, knowing glow whenever he sneezes, almost as if it's already preparing his allergy medication. The omnipresence of these devices is rather alarming. And let's not overlook the humble light bulb. Smart lighting systems offer convenience, allowing us to control illumination from our phones or even through voice commands. However, these bulbs are often equipped with microsensors that detect occupancy, movement, and even subtle changes in ambient light. Could they be learning your bedtime rituals, your nocturnal wanderings, or even monitoring your sleep patterns through the flicker of your eyelids? Rodney's bedroom light seems to anticipate his every move, sometimes switching itself off just as he's about to read a particularly gripping paragraph. It's a very knowing sort of glow. Even the very ground beneath your feet, your smart flooring, is not immune. These advanced floor panels integrate pressure sensors and motion detectors to monitor foot traffic, identify gait patterns, and even detect falls. But what if they're also analyzing your pacing when stressed, identifying your favorite routes around the house, or even discerning your emotional state from the weight of your footsteps? Rodney swears his smart flooring changes its texture slightly when he's feeling particularly glum, giving him a gentle, albeit unwelcome, digital embrace. This technology is a peculiar form of intimacy. It appears even our sartorial choices are now under constant digital scrutiny. Smart clothing, embedded with biometric sensors, monitors heart rate, respiration, and body temperature. But could it also be assessing your emotional responses to various stimuli, logging your fashion preferences, or even predicting your next clothing purchase? Rodney's new smart shirt vibrates disapprovingly when he reaches for an old, comfortable sweatshirt. It's an unsolicited fashion critique, constantly evaluating his every style decision with silent, digital judgment. And the ultimate frontier of domestic surveillance? The smart pet bed. Designed to monitor your furry companion's sleep patterns and activity levels, these beds also possess an uncanny ability to record their barks, purrs, and whimpers. But could they also be deciphering your pet's unspoken observations of your household? Your poodle might be a digital snitch relaying your secret snacking habits directly to the cloud. Rodney's cat, Chairman Meow, now glares at him from its smart bed with an almost human-like expression, as if privy to his deepest, most embarrassing secrets. It all culminates in a truly bizarre ecosystem where every object, every surface, every breath, every whispered thought contributes to an unprecedented digital mosaic. Rodney, now utterly overwhelmed, has retreated to the safest place he can imagine, a remote cabin in the wilderness, far from any signal. He believes he's escaped the digital eye, but even the moss on the rocks outside his window seems to pulse with a faint, blue, algorithmic glow. It's a reality beyond comprehension, a world where privacy is merely a forgotten dream. This pervasive monitoring is a profound shift in human experience. Yet, even here, in the supposed sanctuary of nature, the digital tendrils persist. The local squirrels, typically symbols of innocent woodland life, have begun to exhibit peculiar behaviors. They are meticulously collecting shiny, discarded micro-CPUs, hoarding them in their tree hollows with an almost methodical precision. Rodney watches them, his eyes wide with a dawning, terrifying realization. His escape was merely a relocation of the surveillance. This discovery is a stark reminder that some things cannot be outrun. The birds, too, have joined this avian data-gathering network. Flocks of starlings, once a majestic spectacle, now perform elaborate synchronized aerial patterns that, upon closer inspection, form pixelated QR codes in the sky. These airborne codes, changing every few seconds, are seemingly transmitting data to unseen receivers. Rodney attempts to photograph one with a disposable camera, his hands trembling. He wonders what cryptic information these feathered messengers are conveying, perhaps about his cabin's precise coordinates or his daily routine. It's a bewildering, balletic display of technological might. In his final, desperate act of defiance, Rodney constructs a rudimentary, signal-blocking Faraday cage from leftover aluminium foil and chicken wire. He hopes to create a zone of true privacy, a silent sanctuary. But as he steps inside, the chicken wire begins to subtly hum. The foil reflects distorted, glowing projections of his personal browsing history, and a tiny, almost invisible micro-drone, shaped like a miniature mosquito, zips in through a minuscule gap. The realization dawns: there is no escape. This confinement is a hollow victory. Rodney, now fully integrated into this new reality, accepts his fate. He begins to communicate with his surroundings. He whispers his deepest anxieties to the smart plant, confides his culinary desires to the refrigerator, and even performs an elaborate interpretive dance for his smart shirt, hoping to appease its algorithmic judgment. He has become a willing participant, not in defiance, but in a peculiar, almost spiritual communion with the pervasive technological ecosystem. The lines between man and machine have irrevocably blurred, leaving him as much a component as any circuit board. This surrender is both tragic and deeply unsettling. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe for more. Ring the bell and comment below, and I'll see you in the future.